Believe it or not, this was once a regular swimming pool, but we have converted it into its own pond ecosystem, complete with tons of native fish species, ranging from bass and bluegill all the way to gar and other toothy predators. And if you've been following along, all of these fish were caught from the wild locally and put into this pool pond, but today we're going to be catching 2 brand new species to add to the pool pond, as well as creating a ton of new structures. I also got a tip on a creature that we've been after for a very long time, and I was able to find one late at night, and you're not going to want to miss that. And of course, we're also going to be feeding all the fish in the pool pond to see how different fish react to different types of prey, and you're not going to want to miss that either. We've got a ton of changes that we made in this video, so let's get right into Pool Pond Season 2, Episode 5. When we ended the last video, we had a major problem with algae, but as you can see, we can finally see the fish again, which means time for some awesome feeding and underwater footage. Now, before we go out and catch any new creatures, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on the ones that we already have. The red-spotted sunfish are doing great, and if you can see right there on the bottom right, that's our bass hog. He's doing super well. Our crappie's in the middle, he's doing great, and our red ear sunfish is off swimming off to the right. All of the fish seem very healthy and happy, and as you can tell, our bass hog has been eating well. He's looking like a barrel. This right here is our very healthy goggle eye, and as you can see, he's doing great. Now, there's a ton more species than just what you're seeing right now. The problem is a lot of them only come out at night, so we'll get some awesome nighttime footage later. For now, let's get these guys some dinner. Now, usually when I feed worms, the red-spotted sunfish come and snatch them out of my hands, but it looks like the bass has finally caught on, and he's started to steal it from them instead. He's gotten so fast that I have to slow it down just to see who actually gets the worm. But don't worry, all these fish get well fed. As you can see, there's not a skinny fish on here. Even the crappie and the red-eye sunfish are nice and plump. I do my best to provide a very wide variety in their diet, including insects, worms, and other types of bait fish. I planned on coming back out late at night to see all the nighttime critters, but that's when I got a very unexpected call. I love fishing, but sometimes you just can't go outside and hit the water. But who says you have to hit the water to go fishing? And that's where today's sponsor, Fishing Clash, comes in. Fishing Clash is a mobile fishing game that you can play anywhere, anytime. But this isn't just your regular everyday fishing game. You can actually compete head-to-head against your friends to prove that you're the better fisherman. Or if you're like me and prefer a little bit more of a laid-back experience, you can also play solo. Now, my pool pond only has about a dozen species of fish, but this game allows you to catch hundreds of different species of fish. There's also over 50 different locations, including a dinosaur island where, yes, that's right, you can catch dinosaurs. But sometimes picking up a new game can seem a little bit intimidating, so to help you guys out, you'll get a $20 bundle for free by using my code right here. Just make sure you download the game using my link in the pinned comment, the description, or by scanning this QR code on your screen right now. If you're like me and you love fishing, you're gonna love Fishing Clash. Oh, sorry, it looks like somebody's calling me. Hello?
Yeah, you gotta come quick, I caught a pickerel.
What?
I said you gotta hurry, I caught a pickerel.
I'm on my way. You see, I've been after a pickerel, which is a very elusive fish in my area, and my buddy Sheldon called me up and told me he found some. So when you get a phone call at 10:30 that says, hey, I found some pickerel, you get your butt out of bed and you go. So my buddy Sheldon called me. He said that he had seen a school of pickerel out here, but he's gonna come meet me out here in just a few minutes. And he said that there should be a whole school or several schools of pickerel. So I brought my dip net. That's all I really had with me, but hopefully we can catch one. No pickerel so far. I do see what looks like a baby amphiuma right there. Maybe we'll scoop that up in the net. I'm seeing a few things swimming around, but none of them look like pickerel yet. Well, my initial thoughts are correct. This is absolutely a baby amphiuma. Definitely small enough to get eaten by the bass, so I'm just going to release this one back. I started losing hope that we'd find anything, but when my buddy Sheldon showed up, I had just missed one. That one was kind of sitting right at the edge of the water. It just looked like a minnow almost. It was like a very long, skinny, like skinnier than a bass. Oh, I saw one over here. You see one? I saw one, yeah. Dang, I should have brought my cast net. I see one. Okay, here's the problem. He's by that can. Okay, I'm just gonna scoot back with it. I think he's in there. I think he's in there. Okay.
He is?
No way. We caught our pickerel. No! We caught the pickerel. We finally caught one. This one might be a little bit too small, but I think I'm gonna keep it and we'll keep trying to catch a bigger one. Oh, dude, no. Okay, hold your net out. I'm gonna do that. Oh, dude, finally. It has been months. It's been months. Oh, dude. Finally, dude. Oh my gosh, let me get him put up. That right there is why when the phone rings at 10 o'clock at night, you answer. Oh, man.
Most beautiful fish. I just want to hold him. Look at that.
Beautiful. I don't know if that's a chain pickerel or a grass pickerel. The grass pickerel tend to stay a lot smaller, so I'm not sure which one that is. But let's see if we can catch another one that's maybe a little bit bigger. Almost looking like another branch. Found one, right here on the bank. Don't move, don't move. I got him.
You got him?
I got him.
No way.
Look at that. Sweet. Okay, so they're right on the bank.
Here, let me put him in the live well.
Yeah.
Yeah, go catch some more.
Oh, yes. For a fish that doesn't even show up in Wildlife and Fisheries website, I have not seen a single one ever recorded on FishBrain in my entire area. And right here on the side of a road in the middle of nowhere, this is where they're gonna be, of all places. And not just one, but several. We've seen a few more. I'm just trying to see if I can catch another one right there on the edge like that that's easy to scoop up. Oh my gosh, that's insane. Yep, another little snake. He was right on the side of the road. Almost stepped on him, but he's non-venomous.
We blinded him.
Okay, come on. I think I got him. I think. Yeah. Yep. There we go. Oh, he's a little muddy, but we're gonna get him washed off. I just swallowed a bug. Oh, look at that big old crawfish.
Big crawfish. Yo.
Oh, it's got eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that one. Don't want to be taking future generations for bait. He's in a weird spot. Small one again. Oh, my net's starting to break. That's why. Ready?
Got him?
Nope.
Nope.
Did you get him?
I don't know. Yep. I got him.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice on the back up.
Back up. Hoop shot.
Here, I'll take him.
Uh-huh.
Sweet.
And a crawfish.
There we go. Oh, you got him. There's no way you didn't. Biggest one so far. Oh, pretty little snake right here, but not the pickerel we're after. I'm just kind of combing around to see if I can see any more. We're really looking for one that's a little bit bigger that won't get eaten by the bass. Worst case scenario, we raise them up in a separate tank and grow them out a little bit. But I'm definitely not passing up the opportunity to get some of these fish. I might even release some of these in my front yard pond and have some pickerel growing out in there too. Another pretty snake, but not the pickerel that we are after. Looks like in all this shallow water, we're probably gonna see a few more of those tiny ones, but I doubt we're gonna see the big one that we're after, just hanging out in this super, super shallow grass. I'm gonna keep him blinded for you. We'll see if you can go 2 for 2. Oh, there's no way you missed him.
Oh, got him.
Nice. Does that make 6 so far?
6.
Jeez.
For a fish that ain't even supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Well, never heard of anyway.
Nice. Another one. He's gonna go ahead. He's still putting up. Oh.
Where'd he go?
I bent down and started talking. He shot off into the deeper part. I probably should have been quiet. That's okay. He was about the same size as that one we caught over in the grass a second ago over there. Now, these pickerel are a great start, and after months of searching, we finally found them, but I am trying to get one a little bit bigger. All right, here are 3 of the pickerel that we caught last night. I think since we have a lot of them that are very small, they're not quite big enough to survive in the backyard pond. So I think we're gonna acclimate these guys for about 10 minutes in this bag and then release them out into the front yard pond where there shouldn't be any predators that can eat them, and they should be able to reproduce, and we'll have plenty of pickerel for years to come. In the meantime, we're gonna head into the house and get a tank ready for all the other fish. Now, this tank is a temporary holding tank for the pickerel and for some new species that we'll have to talk about in a future video. All right, let's go ahead and release these guys out into their new home. This water should be perfect for them. It's nice and clear. It's got plenty of oxygenation for them, plenty of aeration. Here they are. They're sitting right in this grass. I'm sure eventually they're gonna take off, but there they go, right into all of the grass. which should be a perfect spot for them to breed and reproduce. So we've got 3 of them in here now. Hopefully at least one of them's a male and one of them's a female. Hopefully it's not all 3 males or all 3 females. But if we catch any more small ones, I think we're gonna release them into this front yard pond. And once they reproduce enough in here, we'll release some into the backyard pond as well. Before I release any of the pickerel into the pool pond, I first want to go out and try to catch another bigger pickerel in that same spot. So I've got a little beetle spin with a paddle tail on it. We're gonna see, oh, we already had something. We had something hit. First cast. All right, coming out in the daytime is very different. You can see in the water a whole lot better. I mean, imagine that. You can see better whenever you're not. Oh, that's something. That's something. What is that? Is that a bass? Oh, it's a bass. Oh, beautiful bass. Look at that. Honestly, for this tiny, like it's not even more than 3 feet deep. That's a good sized bass for this little body of water. Look at that sucker. But that's not the pickerel that we're after, so we're gonna release him. Oh, or he's gonna release himself. But there we go. That is the white paddle tail Timu lure. But we're gonna try again for that pickerel. That'd be pretty cool if I ended up catching a fish while a car driving by. Make me look like a pro fisherman. Probably think I'm nuts watching me fish in a ditch. Little do they know I've already caught a bass. Oh, there we go. There we go. Look at that. Ha, look at that. I look like a pro fisherman catching a bass as they're pulling up. Look at that. They gave me a peace sign out the window. Oh, look at all them. Look at all them. Those are pickerel. Oh, I got one. No, no, no. Oh, is that a bass? Oh, never mind. That is a microscopic bass on the little beetle spin and crawfish. I thought that was a little pickerel, but that is not. That's a baby bass. There we go. That's 3 bass in this ditch, which is like covered with litter and all kinds of junk, but it's got tons of fish.
Catching anything?
I actually caught a couple bass.
Did you?
Yep. I've seen some little small pickerel. I'm trying to catch one of them.
Small what?
Pickerel.
Pickerel.
Yeah, it's a fish, kind of looks like a pike, but they're real small.
That's a shoe peak. Grinnell. We call them grinnell.
No, not a grinnell. It's called a, oh, I just got a little bite. I showed him a picture of it, and he told me that they call them jackfish. So maybe that's why most people that I talked to didn't know what a pickerel was. There's just so much junk in the water, it's hard to keep a line in there without pine straw or trash or something. Oh, oh.
Did you catch one?
Oh, it's a bass. Little tiny bass. It's a trophy fish right there. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I said, why don't you go down there by the creek?
Where's the creek at?
Straight down this highway. They got a bridge down there on the right. You can pull off to the right back there.
Oh, really?
If anybody says anything to you, you tell him that I give you permission.
Awesome. Let me cast a couple more times here, and then I'll definitely check that out. Thank you. After securing a new fishing spot, I decided to cast a couple more times here. All right, babe, last cast. Unless I get a bite. Oh, got a fish. Oh, good size goggle eye. I think this is my favorite combo so far. Just using this little tiny crawfish on a beetle spin. But there we go. Beautiful fish. Not what we're after again. Right on the last cast, but you know, caught a fish, so it can't count as the last cast when you catch a fish or get a bite. That's the rules. I don't make them, I just follow them. Oh, this spot's just calling to me. It's just telling me, hey, you haven't caught me yet. And I'm hiding right here. Don't leave yet. You haven't caught me yet. He's just telling me that. I know it. I feel it in my bones. Oh, there we go. What is this? Baby goggle eye. Okay, not the fish that I thought I was going to catch. This is not the fish that was calling out to me. Or maybe it was, but I did not want him. There we go. Well, not the pickerel we're after, but still a pretty cool catch. I think we need to go ahead and head home. I just had this feeling that there's a pickerel that's just waiting for my lure to get right in front of him. And then he's going to attack. It's a big one, too. A big grass pickerel. Perfect size for the pool pond. Oh. Nope. That. Ooh. I think that might have been a green sunfish. I don't know. He kind of popped off the hook a little bit early. Something hit. Something hit several times, actually, right there by that grass. That could be our pickerel. That was definitely, I'm not going to say definitely, that was most likely a pickerel. With the way that it attacked the little ambush spot that it shows. There we go! There we go! Ah! Dang. Okay. Another beautiful goggle eye, not our pickerel that we are after. Beautiful fish still, of course. And finally, on my true last cast, I caught a brand new species for the pool pond. There we go. We got something. Oh, green sunfish. Beautiful, beautiful green sunfish. We have not got one of these in the pool pond yet. I think we're going to take this one home. Gorgeous, gorgeous green sunfish. First one I've caught in a long time. So we're going to take this guy home. Perfect catch as we're literally about to head out. Okay, so first I'm going to quickly, the water temperature is the same. I want to release this guy where he's not going to get eaten by the bass. I think he is too big for the bass to eat him. Please. Oh, thank the Lord. Okay, bass did not eat him. We now have a green sunfish. I got busy for the next couple days after this, but let's check back in after a couple days to see how the green sunfish is doing. Ooh, look at all the pretty fish. I'm looking right now for that green sunfish that we added. He hasn't seemed to join the school just yet. We got pickle over there. We got hog over here. We got all the red spotted sunfish. Looks like we got a bluegill right there, bluegill right there. We got our red eye sunfish and our crappie down there. I'm looking for that green sunfish, but I don't see him. I know that the Amphiuma, he likes to use this little cave area right here. Everything's looking good. The water clarity is finally good and under control. It's been stable for the past 3 or 4 days. So I think it's finally time for us to get some new structures in here now that we can actually see where to put them. But before I could add any kind of structure, my buddy Sheldon called me up and told me he had a fish trap full of fish for me to take home, and inside it was a large pickerel. I don't think the bass is going to eat him. I think he's going to be safe. He does seem like he kind of injured the top of his head, so I'm trying to be gentle with him. Please. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Pickerel into the pool pond. The bass has not attacked him. Sweet. They kind of went over in that direction, but he did not eat the pickerel yet. So we got a few more of these bluegill. We're going to throw them in, feed the fish. Some of them are small, some of them are decent size. Either way, they're real pretty, so even if they survive, they are gorgeous fish. I believe that's actually a goggle eye, but I could be mistaken. Oh, that bass got him. Oh, look, you know he's down there. He's still safe. Oh, no. Oh, he escaped the bass. Okay. The bass does look pretty full. He's been eating a lot of those catfish. So, oh, no. Oh, no. That's the red-eye sunfish. That's the goggle eye that got him. Dang. We got lots of them. This is a green sunfish, I believe. You can tell because they got a slightly bigger mouth to them. They've got that coloration on their face, and they've got those bright orange and highlighted tips on their fins. So, beautiful green sunfish. Ooh. Another beautiful green sunfish. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. There he goes. I think most of these are actually green sunfish. This one might not be. This might be a long ear. Yeah, that's a long ear sunfish. Beautiful, beautiful colors though. There we go. Oh, bass tried to eat that one. And one more green sunfish. Oh. No, they're kind of leaving him alone. Sweet. Well, I tell you what, since the bass didn't eat the pickerel that we just got from that trap. I'm gonna release 2 more pickerel, and we're gonna keep 1 inside in the cage. All right, so we've got the 2 bigger ones that we caught the other day. We're gonna keep one of them inside in a tank for a good little while, just in case these do get eaten. You can see here the bluegill have never seen a bag in here before, so they're kind of interested in that. But hopefully these guys don't get eaten by the fish. We're gonna let them acclimate for about 10 minutes and then release them out. Oh, stop biting that, you dead gum bluegill. He's trying to tear a little hole in it. Quit that. He's trying to give him a little smooch. Look at that. All right, it's time. Gonna let the water kind of naturally mix here. And when they're ready, they'll come out. Okay. They do not seem to be being bullied. Oh, okay, I see the big one. The big one's down there at the bottom. He's hanging out. So there's the big one that we caught that Sheldon caught in the trap. We got a small one right here. The other one shot off somewhere in that direction. But none of them have been attacked by the fish, which is awesome so far. Now those small ones, I don't know how well they're gonna do. A small one just took off somewhere. He's over there. So I don't know how well the smaller ones are gonna do, but I do think that that bigger one right there is definitely gonna survive. So we now have officially added pike to the pool pond. Now technically, yes, they are pickerel, but they're in the pike family, so I'm counting it. It's the only kind that's actually native to my area. So we finally have added the fish that everyone has been asking for since day 1. On top of that, we also have those green sunfish, which seem to be hiding right now. I have not seen them. They're either hiding down at the bottom or maybe in some of these plants. Oop, I think I see one down there way at the bottom. It's hard to focus because it's in the water. But green sunfish is another one that a lot of you guys have been asking for. So we finally got that. And now I think we just need to get some more structure in here, specifically in this area. I'd like to put another potted plant maybe over there or somewhere over there, just not directly in the way of where that current comes out. That's where most of our aeration comes from, is that water disturbance. So I don't want to block that. I want to allow all that water disturbance. Maybe we can put another thing of lily pads here, maybe some underwater plants there, maybe another structure here. But either way, our next thing to add is lots and lots of structure and plants. But before we start stirring up the water with all these new decorations and structures that we want to add, let's take a look at these fish in this clear water. If you've been watching since day 1, you'll see a major change in all the different structure, from all the algae that's now starting to cover the driftwood we originally added and the different types of decorations, to all the new plants that have started to flourish. Even the very walls of the pool are covered in algae now, and I'm looking to get some stuff to solve that algae problem, but let's talk about that a little bit later. For now, let's just admire how beautiful this underwater landscape is. Now you might be asking where some of the creatures are, and I'll explain that here in a little while, but for now, let's just take a look at how beautiful this is. It seems like the original middle driftwood and cinder block pile that we made has been a huge hit with all the different species of fish, but if you look pretty much everywhere except for this crate and that middle section, it seems like the pool pond is just empty with a whole lot of empty space, so we're going to try to fix that with a few different types of structure. When it comes to structure, there were a lot of different suggestions. Some people said gravel, some people said driftwood, some people said rocks, and a million other suggestions. So I went ahead and went with as many different ones as possible. Unfortunately, all of the structures require 2 hands to set up, so I didn't get to film much of it, but I think you guys are going to absolutely love the big reveal. And even though structure seems like it's not that big of a deal, it is a huge deal to these different fish. Structure creates a lot of hiding spots and breeding locations for different fish. Here you can see our Amphiuma kind of curled up, that's that snake looking thing, and one of our catfish, I believe this is one of the bullheads, kind of hiding. We also get fish that hide in the caves and around the cinder blocks and pretty much every piece of cover that we have put in the pond so far. But when there's not enough cover, fish like this little green sunfish have nowhere to hide and are easy targets for the bigger predators. So I went out to several different locations to gather materials, including a beach where I collected a whole lot of driftwood and other materials while I was saltwater fishing. All right, so we're back at the pool pond after doing a little bit of saltwater fishing, and the water's a little bit cloudy, and that's because we've added some new structures into the pool pond. For starters, I put a whole bunch of new driftwood onto this pile right here. You can see Bailey's Rock right there from the first episode of the Pool Pond series. Now this little spot has been the favorite spot for Leviathan and the catfish, so I decided to give it a little bit more stuff here, and I think that this is going to make it a much better spot for the fish to hang out. Next up, these lily pads have been swarmed by all that water hyacinth, so I cleared them all away from the lily pads so that way they'd be able to grow. You can see things like this happen whenever they're getting completely crowded and they don't get any sunlight, so they start to rot and die. Let me peel this one off real quick. But anyways, within the next few days, this should have plenty of sunlight and be able to spread out a lot better. And you might have noticed in the background, we've got some gravel and some different shells. This is a whole bunch of oyster reef that I pulled out of that water. So we'll have some oyster reef. And then in that little pot right there, we have a different aquatic plant that's planted. I'll see once the water clears up if I can get y'all a really good underwater view of it. Over here, we've got a rock pile with hornwort woven in and some driftwood. That's gonna look really cool underwater. I'll show you that as soon as this water clears up. Over here, I added even more rock piles. Now, this is like some very skinny cinder blocks. So I added some driftwood with those, and this is gonna be a perfect hiding spot for all kinds of shrimp and other small critters like that. Maybe even some crawfish, things like that. That way the fish aren't eating them immediately. Now, it's really hard to see here right now, but we've got some little concrete slabs and another potted plant. That potted plant is some more of that hydrilla from the front yard pond. And then these rocks are piled up into like a little bit of a cave structure. It's hard to see it right now, but you'll see underwater. It is beautiful. All of that concrete was already weathered and worn down a lot. So all you can see is a bunch of little tiny pebbles sticking out of it. And it looks awesome. Now, if you look down there, that's the first potted plant with the lily pads. But these guys were causing a problem. This water hyacinth kept clustering around it just like it did over there. So we made a floating driftwood island that's gonna double as a turtle basking spot and hold all of this beautiful water hyacinth. And as you can tell, all of these flowers are finally in bloom and they are gorgeous. I used a little piece of fishing string to connect it to that main piece of driftwood. That way, this is as far as it'll drift. It can drift a little bit that way or a little bit this way, but it will never again interfere with our beautiful lily pads. And on top of that, it has a very intricate root system below from all these plants. That's the perfect shelter for bait fish like minnows or those tiny bluegill. So at this point, we have finally added enough structure to pretty much every section, aside from a little walkway in the middle. That way I can walk around and get some awesome underwater footage. Now, in the last video, I told you guys that I hadn't seen the turtle in a long time, and I still haven't seen it since then. So in the next video, we're gonna try and go out and find a small turtle to replace him. Also, there's been a little bit of a setback with some of the critters in the pool pond. As I was swimming in there earlier, I saw something that was pretty rough. This little fella right here, not this little bluegill right there, I'm talking about hog. He has eaten the pickerel. Doesn't matter how many times I feed them, they still decide to eat one another. And so as I was walking around and starting to put some of these rocks and stuff in place, I saw something that looked like a shiner jumping out of the water, and hog was hot on his tail. And as I got closer, I realized it was the pickerel. And so I ran over trying to stop him, and it was too late. He ate the pickerel. So I'm not sure if we have any more pickerel left. He might have eaten them all. He might have only eaten one. But luckily I did save one of the pickerel that we caught, and I have him inside in like a holding tank. We might just have to grow that one out and eventually add him into the pool pond. So basically we have a decision to make. Do we keep the bass and just have to try and wait to see if we can catch a bigger pickerel, or do we remove the bass and put some of those small pickerel in here? And we still have the other smaller bass. I don't know where it's at right now. But we do have one of the other bass, but I don't know which one you guys would prefer. I'll put a poll up on my community tab for y'all guys to vote on in the next week or so, but I'm still trying to figure out what the best option is gonna be for that. On top of that, we also have some bad news about the bowfin. Only about 2 or 3 days after I added the bowfin, I couldn't find him anywhere. And whenever I went and looked, he had his head wedged into this like crate here. I'm not sure if he was after the amphiuma or just tried to get in there. But he basically got stuck and did not survive. I didn't see him floating or anything, and so after a few days of not seeing him, I kind of went around and I saw him kind of up underneath this driftwood with his head stuck in that little handle thing. I don't know how he got his head wedged in there. Maybe he was chasing something and just rammed into it. But that bowfin did not survive. Other than that, I have seen pretty much all of the fish that we've added. The green sunfish are tough to find. I think I had one clip of them. They like to hide up underneath the water hyacinth roots. They are in here. I think some of them got eaten, but not all of them. But wherever the green sunfish are now, they have a ton of structure to hide in. They've got this driftwood, rock, and hornwort structure. They've also got some other things like this potted plant. This is hydrilla, if I'm not mistaken. For the smaller creatures, I made this little rock and shell pile, which should be perfect for crawfish and other tiny critters to hide in all the nooks and crannies. With the crate, we added a whole bunch of different pieces of driftwood, which you can tell because they're not completely coated with algae. This is going to give a lot more cover and space for the fish to kind of swim in and out and dodge predators. Just a little bit further down, we've got another potted plant with some hydrilla and a different kind of plant. And then also those concrete blocks that I was telling you about, and this exposed gravel looks beautiful. This next one is my absolute favorite, and it's a whole bunch of cinder blocks, but they have a lot smaller of an opening, so I was able to wedge in some good pieces of driftwood on top, but the openings on the outside are the coolest parts. I have a real good close-up with some fish actually hiding in it later, but for now, I just got a good look of the outside of it. And then finally, there's the Driftwood and Hyacinth Island, which provides a ton of floating cover and different hiding spots for all kinds of different fish, shrimp, and minnows. It also produces a really good breeding ground for those bait fish and types of insects, so that's another big plus. It also looks absolutely beautiful when it's in bloom. These purple flowers look absolutely gorgeous, and underwater, those roots collect all kinds of sediment from the water, helping clean it up as well. So this is probably the most useful piece of structure because it also cleans out the water. It also provides a little bit of shade if you're from the bottom looking up, and it looks really cool from this angle. A lot of different fish rely on this structure. But even though it's the most useful, to me, this is the prettiest one, which is that small squished cinder block whatever thing. I was able to use it to make some stacked cave structures, and there's already a fish using it not even a day after putting it in. The bottom holes are also closed in the back, so it makes a perfect cave for different types of shrimp. These concrete blocks are the perfect habitat for crawfish or beneficial bacteria. I'm not sure how much adding that little bit of driftwood really helped the crate because the crate was already a super popular spot, but it seems like it's already been claimed by this catfish and the Amphiuma, but the top half is kind of used by any fish that come by. The gravel and shells don't seem to be used very often, but I think there could be some crawfish hiding inside of it. The potted plant is mostly there just to provide oxygen, but as it grows, it will provide more cover. And finally, there's the rock pile with the driftwood and hornwort. It doesn't seem like many fish have been taking advantage of this, but I did see some cool stuff later on in the night footage that you're not going to want to miss. Here is a red spot that was kind of checking things out, but didn't seem to settle anywhere. I think this is going to be one of those spots that the crawfish kind of hide in, and maybe some minnows eventually, but for now it's kind of vacant. I also forgot to mention earlier that I found this concrete tube and I put it in the bottom right next to the lily pad, and we've already got a little catfish using it as his daytime hiding spot. But even with all these new additions, it seems like the middle section is still a favorite spot by the fish. This driftwood stump and cinder blocks and plants just seems to be the perfect mix of cover for these different fish. But now that we've added all this new cover, the pool pond doesn't seem nearly as empty as it did before. There is still a little walkway for me to get some good underwater footage, but for now, I think this will do. I fed the fish as a little thank you for handling all the renovations so well, and I took your guys' suggestion by doing some underwater slow-mo footage, which turned out a little bit better than I expected. The only problem is when you're feeding something like a minnow, they move very fast and it's hard to keep track of your target, but when you can, it's really cool to see these fish in action and how they respond to different types of prey. It was also cool to see how the prey would evade different attacks, sometimes completely jumping out of the water and landing back in somewhere else, but sometimes they were just lunch. I set up a wide angle shot so I could get as much action as possible, but the fish were biting before the camera even engaged in slow-mo, but it was still cool to see some awesome topwater blow-ups from the bass, as well as some other fish chasing the minnows. If you've never seen how fish eat before, take a look at this clip and notice how he sucks it in like a vacuum. When fish are feeding, they open their mouths so fast that it sucks the prey directly into their mouths, and seeing it in slow motion is super cool. In most water conditions, you would never even be able to see this, especially in slow motion, so it's awesome to be able to have this in my own backyard where I can see all of this stuff happen live right in front of me. It's also very entertaining to try and feed a bass and watch him constantly get his food taken by fish that are half his size. Right here, I thought the bass was finally about to get it, but nope, bluegill comes right out of nowhere to snatch it away from him. Luckily, the bass finally got his nice grasshopper when I threw it really quickly on the surface before any of the other fish could realize. But now that the fish are fed, it's time for us to go out and catch another pickerel to replace the other ones. And sadly for you guys, there's only one place I've ever seen these pickerel, so that's where we're going, right back to that ditch on the side of the road. Alright, so I don't have a big hook, but I put the smallest jig I can on this little frog. Since they're chasing frogs around right now, I think this is gonna give us the best chance of catching one of those pickerel. First, I wanna test if the thing's gonna float. Oh, it kinda does. Okay, it floats enough. I mean, the fact that this is a weighted jig head made me think it was not gonna float at all. But hey, if we can get us a nice little fish to bite this frog. The hook's real small. Oh, we got something. We got one. What is it? Ah, dang. I mean, good size. Oh, is that a green sunfish? Dude, that one's definitely big enough to not get eaten by the bass. I think we're gonna keep him. Keeping him for the pool pond. That way he doesn't get eaten. Look at the beautiful colors on him. Awesome. All right, let's see if we can go 2 for 2. It would appear that the frog with this jig is actually a really good combo. It doesn't quite float, but it does mimic a good swimming frog. This is the same lure I did in my Timu fishing challenge. And this thing is actually like super good. Now it works perfect with an appropriately sized regular hook whenever it could float on the surface. But if you can see, the way it works is it's kind of got its legs sticking up. And then when you pop it, it twitches those legs and it'll slowly descend. And that seems to be driving them crazy right now. Oh, something jumped next to it. Ooh, something big right there. There was something big right there. I'm just hoping to get this lure. Something kept moving as I popped right in front of us. There's something right there. It must have been pretty decent size for it to be moving every time I pop my lure. Dang it, I don't know why I set the hook. I saw obviously that it missed. Ugh. Okay, that's the strategy. I just need to work it on the top and let something come up and smoke it. Oh, it missed it. It missed it. It was right there though. Okay, there's definitely something there. It's hanging out and it's missed my lure twice now. I bet if I had a regular hook, we'd have hooked this thing already. Look, see? It's hanging out right there, whatever it is. And it's a little hesitant, which I don't like. It's struck at it multiple times and just keeps missing. The problem is with that beetle spin, I get hung up in all this junk. I'm kind of able to scoot past it with this frog. It missed again. It keeps missing. I fished for probably another hour until the sun was almost completely down without catching a single thing on this frog, so we'll come back out tomorrow. All right, we got home just as the sun was setting down. Here's our beautiful green sunfish in his new home. The water temperatures were exactly the same. That's why I didn't have to worry about acclimating him. But we're gonna see if we can get some good footage tonight of the gar and all the other creatures. So I'll catch y'all on some underwater footage that starts right now. In the last video, we didn't get any good underwater footage of our gar, so this is him finally out and about with the water nice and clear for us to see. He's a beautiful, I believe it's a spotted gar, but he might be a long-nosed gar. I'm still not 100% sure how to tell the difference. I'm sure one of you guys will let me know in the comments down below which kind this is. I kind of think it's a spotted gar, but I could be wrong. We also need a name for him, so drop a comment for that as well. The next creature I spotted at night was our Amphiuma, otherwise known as Leviathan. And it's fairly rare to find him outside of his crate. He only comes out late at night to kind of explore around and check out what's going on and to find food. He also has to come up for air every once in a while, which is a really cool thing to see. I caught an awesome video of it in the last video, so y'all should go check that out if you haven't seen it already. Sadly, as soon as I finished videoing this, I saw him scoot off right back over to his crate along with a catfish, which was not too happy to be kicked out of his home. I also spotted this little sleeping red ear sunfish, which I accidentally woke up, and it was sitting right next to one of our freshwater clams. We've got a lot of these guys, but they tend to be hidden. At nighttime, though, they'll kind of move around and create these little trenches, and it makes it a lot easier to find. And it was hiding right next to our beautiful rock, driftwood, and hornwort pile. But while I was checking that out, I noticed some movement off to the corner of my eye, and I went to investigate, and yes, the Amphiuma was out and about again, this time swimming around the roots of that driftwood pile in the middle. But seeing him slither around is one of the coolest things. He is my favorite creature in the entire pool pond by far. It's just really awesome to see one of these guys slithering around and existing as a little sea monster. And the thing is, if you didn't see him at night, you'd never see him out and about in the daytime. So this is basically the Loch Ness monster of the pool pond. Now, even though this guy is super mysterious, it is really cool to be able to catch him out and about and to feed him. So I dropped a few pieces of shrimp right down in front of him to hopefully get him to eat it. It was picked apart a little bit by this red-spotted sunfish, but eventually he noticed a piece right by his face and came to get a closer sniff. I've been told that pretty much any kind of cut bait should be good for these amphiumas. However, it didn't seem like he liked shrimp all that much. He nibbled on it a little bit, spat it out, nibbled on it, spat it out. Last time I fed him a worm and he slurped it up like it was nothing, but it doesn't seem like they have that big of an appetite. So maybe he had already eaten and he just didn't want it. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. Either way, he got bored of it and went back into his crate, slipping away. I still had a couple pieces of shrimp left, so I dropped him by the crate in hopes that he'd come back for them, but it seemed like all it did was attract the attention of the catfish. At first, the driftwood was blocking it from being able to get to the shrimp, and so it actually was a little bit smart. It went into the crate and slurped the shrimp from inside the crate. So if you watch this fish, it's going to swim right over the shrimp, and behind it, that catfish is going to grab the tail and drag it straight into that crate. Slurp, just like that. Now this catfish didn't want to share, so he drug his shrimp way off to the side and swam around for a little bit with a big shrimp tail sticking out of his mouth. The best part about having catfish is there's no such thing as leftovers. If anything hits the ground and isn't eaten quickly, those catfish will clean it up. It's really cool to come out at night to see what's going on with all the nocturnal creatures because it basically makes it seem like a second pool pond because it's nothing like in the daytime. But I can't stay out too late. I've got a big day tomorrow where I'm going to hopefully finally catch our big pickerel that won't get eaten by the bass. So I dropped off the last little pieces of shrimp and went into the house to wake up the next morning to a beautiful but foggy day. I'm heading out to that same spot and the creek that man had mentioned before to see if we could finally catch our pickerel. Yeah, out here early in the morning. Got that frog. This time we've got a frog with the appropriately sized hook, so it should kind of stay on the surface a little better. It's been a while since we've had rain, so this spot is starting to dry up and we don't have much time to catch that pickerel. I did bring my little minnow net with me, so we're going to definitely scoop up some of these minnows as bait for the pool pond, but for now, we need to go catch that big pickerel. Ooh, as I'm walking around, I see that turtle right up ahead, and I was thinking about grabbing it, but he looks like he's just a little bit too big for what I want in the pool pond, but still, pretty good sized turtle right there. I'm not sure exactly what kind without seeing it out of the water. Doesn't look like a snapping turtle though. It looks like some other kind. But it's kind of tough to tell if you don't see them out of the water. But pretty cool to see. This is where we got our bites yesterday. But we weren't using a frog that would stay on the top of the water. The other one was sinking a little bit. So I'm hoping that since this one stays on the top of the water, maybe it'll be a little bit more successful at attracting the fish and getting a good bite. For whatever reason, even using the appropriately sized hook and fishing the frog properly, I was not able to get a single bite. Well, I was told that white is a good color, especially these little paddle tails for targeting pickerel. So if we don't catch anything on this, we're going to move on to that creek. Sadly, even using my tried and true method, I was about to be skunked. After about an hour and a half of fishing, there was nothing. Hopefully, as the winter time comes and there's slightly less bait fish, maybe we can catch a bigger one out here. Pickerel are supposed to bite pretty good even in the winter time, so that might be something that we target out here come winter time if I can't get a good size one right now. With no luck here, it was time for me to turn around and go back to that creek that man had told me about. I made one cast after the camera got turned off, and I caught this guy right here. You have got to be kidding me. I went over to the creek that the man had told me about, but because of the lack of rain, it was completely bone dry, aside from a couple small puddles that stayed filled. There we go. Gotta lie. Beautiful one. Little red eye. Ouch! Red eye sunfish. I grabbed directly on the spines on that one. Look at that. Beautiful. You can see those deep red eyes. But he is not our pickerel that we're after. But it was nice to catch him. So there are still fish that have survived in this creek. Most of them probably went further down in some deeper pockets back there, but I don't have permission to fish that, so I'm not going that way. Let's go back to our first spot. Well, the grass was in fact not greener in the other body of water, but I had an idea on the way up here, which is to take an actual minnow and put a live bait on the beetle spin. Now, is this gonna work? I have no idea, but if it does, that'd be cool. I see tons of tiny minnows I did catch an itty bitty crawfish, but I don't think that that's gonna be as good. I need a fat minnow. So that's what I'm looking for. I see lots of stuff moving on the surface, but it's hard to tell what size they are. And usually when I catch them, they're about that size, which is a little bit too small. There's a ton of them, and they'll be great for feeding the bass in the pool pond. So we'll catch some of those right before we leave. But as far as getting one that's big enough to actually fit on a hook, I think we might be out of luck. All right, so I was not able to find one big enough to fit on a beetle spin, but I did take one of them and put it on a teeny tiny hook on a bobber. And I'm gonna see if I can catch something that way. Something came. We got something. Pickerel! Bass, dadgummit. I was so excited. Well, this setup works. At least I know that. There we go, another baby bass. But this setup works now, and I know that, so that's good. The bobber wasn't working as well as I thought it would, so I went weightless instead. I'm gonna try and cast this thing out with no bobber and see if this injured fish is gonna be able to catch something. Got a max casting distance of like 8 feet from the rod tip. Oh! That was a bluegill anyway. Still got our bait, we're good. Okay, this method does work. There we go, got something, okay. Another green sunfish, little small one. This guy would probably just get eaten immediately by the bass, although it does have some really pretty dots on the back fins. You can see those little black dots. That's pretty cool. Not the fellow we are after, still a beautiful fish. I see tons of fish swimming around. I'm just gonna kind of toss that out. I got like 3 minnows on at the same time since they were smaller, just to see if they attract a little bit more attention. There we go. Dadgummit, another bass. Pretty one, but again, not what we're after. Go on. There we go. There we go. Bass again. See, they're all slender like that, and you think, oh, pickerel, finally. And it's not a pickerel, it's a ditch pickle. There we go. There we go. Pickerel. Bass, dadgummit. I tell you what, if you ever want to catch baby bass, teeny tiny hook and a minnow, fish it weightless. Apparently it does wonders. There we go. What is it? Bass? Dang it. Well, another pretty little tiny bass. It's so hard to cast this thing. There's no weight behind it. I should have brought my fly rod so that I could at least get a good distance over there. There we go. Oh, that was a pickerel. That was a pickerel. Oh my gosh. Watch very closely and freeze. Zoom in a little bit, zoom in a little bit more, enhance, 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 and indeed, it was 100% confirmed a pickerel. And even though he got away from me, it at least gave me a little bit of hope that I could possibly catch a pickerel this way. At this point, I've never caught one on rod and reel, and I would do anything to catch one, even if it is too small. Got another bite. The fact that it's in the same spot makes me think it's probably a bluegill of some kind, or some kind of sunfish, because it keeps attacking the same spot. But I could be wrong, and I'd hate to miss a pickerel. Bass. I was gonna say I'd hate to miss a pickerel because I just ignored a bite, but here we are with a bass yet again. Somebody drop a name for him in the comments. Dang it! Oh, great. That was awesome. Ouch. I just slipped in that stupid mud. I fished for probably about 5 hours before finally throwing in the towel and deciding to catch a few bait fish before I headed home. Before we leave, I'm going to catch a whole lot of these minnows to put in the pool pond. Again, most of these are going to get eaten immediately by the bass, but you know, it is what it is. It's free food for the pool pond. Okay, right here, I'm not really after the minnows so much as I am shrimp. So grass shrimp use grass, as their name suggests. And a lot of the times, that's where they'll hide. This right here is what I'm talking about. This grass should have a ton of those grass shrimp, and we might take some of these plants for in the pool pond too. So get a good scoop here. Ugh. Let's see if we can see any shrimp. Oh, I already see a lot. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera because they're very clear, but there is a ton. Awesome. We're gonna keep this plant too. That should be some good plants for aeration in the pool pond and lots of cover for these shrimp whenever we do release them. Oh my goodness. Let me rinse that off a little bit. Oh my gosh, we just got a ton. So they're kind of mixed up with a little bit of mud, but that was a good scoop right there. All right, here we go. Ooh, look at all those. Perfect. We're gonna do like 10 more scoops like that and we should have plenty of bait. Oh, we got some. We got some of the big ones. Those are much bigger, much prettier too. Look at that, wow. Ooh, almost got them out. All right, let's go put these in the live well. Oh, my net messed up, but I still got them. Oh man, my net was rolled up on top of itself, but we still got them. I see them, I see them. Did I get them? Yeah. Got a few big ones. You know what, we're just gonna kind of, hey, kind of worked. I don't know what these little jelly looking things are, so I'm just gonna grab the fish out of it. Here we go. Oh, nope. Are those snails? I think we got a whole bunch of snails in there. We're gonna drop that off. Oh, look, a little tiny bug. All right, well, we got some stuff. Not a lot of minnows, but we got a lot of snails for some reason. All right, it looks like, I don't know if you can see, those are shrimp down there. We've got all kinds of minnows, big, small, and everything in between, and we got some new plants. We're gonna go ahead, take all of this home and release it into the pool pond. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do, even though there's some minnows and stuff in here, I'm gonna drop this plant down, and that'll at least give them a little bit of cover, even though you can see right here, this red spot is probably gonna try and eat this guy right there. Oh, bass got him. Okay, we're gonna go ahead, that's just sinking to the bottom. Okay, I did not expect that to happen. Well, a lot of these guys are probably gonna get eaten. These fish require a whole lot of food, so I think eventually I'm going to make my own bait pool pond where it's only going to be for bait fish. So let me know what kind of fish you'd like to see in that kind of a pool pond. But for now, let's go ahead and ring that dinner bell. While you're watching, take notice of how the different fish attack. The red-spotted sunfish tend to swim real close and then lunge forward, whereas the bass just comes flying from the bottom and scoops up as much as possible. It's crazy to see just how big of an appetite all these fish have. They're willing to eat and keep eating until their bellies physically cannot hold anything else. And that leads me to a little bit of a problem. You see, these fish refuse to eat pellet food, so all winter I'm going to have to continuously provide them with new food. So if you have anything that you think would be really cool to add to this pool pond for bait, let me know in the comments down below, and if it's available, I'll definitely try to get it. Keep in mind, it has to be legal in Louisiana and native. Unfortunately, things like tilapia are not legal or native in my area, so I can't use things like that. But if there's another thing that you can think of, please let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there commenting, don't forget to hit a like on the video. It helps me out a ton and allows me to do more videos just like this one. If you haven't subscribed already, consider hitting that subscribe button. It also helps a ton, and you won't ever miss another video like this one. Now that the fish have pretty much eaten their fill, it's time for us to release the snails. All right, well, it looks like the fish ate pretty much everything that I dropped in here. Hopefully some shrimp survived in those weeds down there. We do also have a lot of snails down here. If you can see that right there, that one's actually moving right there a little bit. We're gonna add all of these snails in there as well. Hopefully the fish kind of mistaken them as just rocks or pebbles or something. But we're gonna put a little bit more water in here and rinse out all of these snails. As you can see, we got tons of snails. We're gonna dump them all in here. Hopefully they'll just look like rocks and the fish won't eat them all. But even if some get eaten, that's okay. Most of these guys should survive because they don't look like food. Oh, nope, see, you spat it out, perfect. All right, good. So we found these weird little cocoon things. I'm gonna be feeding them and then some grubs as the last thing we're gonna feed them for this video. Fish need a variety of different types of foods just so that they can get all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that they need, just like us humans. I tried to make a floating cricket farm, but I couldn't find any wood that was safe for this water, so that's something we're gonna have to save for another video. But I definitely haven't given up on the idea. I'm just trying to find some different ways to do it. If you guys have any specific fish you'd like to see me add, any structures, or anything else that you'd like to see in the pool pond in the future, please let me know. With fall and winter approaching, I have a few different ideas that I want to use, but if you guys have something new, please tell me. I'd love to hear it. Today's scripture comes from Psalms chapter 9, verses 1 and 2. It says, "I will thank you, Lord, with all my heart. I will talk about all your wonderful acts. I will celebrate and rejoice in you. I will sing praises to your name most high." I hope you guys have an awesome week. As always, Jesus loves you, I love you, and have a great day. Huge thank you to Fishing Clash for sponsoring this video, and if you guys want to join my clan, search up Toxin Custom YT on the clan search, but make sure you download it quick because there's only a limited number of spaces.